Hello and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Friday the 15th of July, the middle of July. Amazing. It's going by really quickly. I have been spending today and all day yesterday. I was in a Zoom. I'm in a conference. I'm at a conference that's in South Carolina from my office here in Alberta, and it's called She Speaks, and it is a women's conference for Christian women in public ministry and creative ministry. So writers and people who do things like this via social media. And it's one of those things that I just sort of came across and didn't expect to do. I'm not entirely sure how it came across my email that I should do this, but it was one of those. I had been praying about something and learning more about this format and understanding what I might be doing, because I really do believe that this is part of my ministry, the Church at Home with Rachael stuff. And sort of like, I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and figure out how to edit things. So this is why it's kind of, someday my goal is that Church at Home with Rachael will be a smooth thing with not having a fan blowing my hair around because it's so hot in here. But I might even wear a little makeup. Not likely, because I never wear makeup. But look a little bit more polished. But that's probably a goal for a decade from now, knowing my life. But I wanted to learn a little bit more about what other people are doing, especially Christian women and their ministries, and just things I've thought about in the past about where God might be calling me to reach out next. And this conference literally popped up in my inbox, and so I clicked on it, and it was an affordable amount that I could say, I can get away with this without Rob saying, you're breaking the bank here. And so I did, and so I spent all day yesterday online. That's a tough thing to do, to be on Zoom conference, but it was really good. The guest speakers, the talks were really quite phenomenal. All kinds of really good topics, very encouraging. And that was fantastic. And then they started talking a little bit about things like, they jokingly talked about the algorithm, and things like that. I will confess that at the best of times, I don't think much about it, about whether we have a lot of views on this channel and how things are going, because my focus is to share thoughts, to hopefully share some perspective of my faith, and have open conversations with people about things. And I have been absolutely overwhelmed and astounded by the comments and folks who are really engaging, those people who are sort of engaging in an appreciation level or a small comment level, and those folks who are diving deep. And even more so, even more important than that, is watching all of you who do comment, starting to comment to each other's comments. So the building up of community and creating a community around this Church at Home has become a spot upon which other people can reach out to each other. And that is more than I could have asked or imagined for this channel when I started it a year and a half ago. However, there are days when, I get like a bunch of new subscribers. It's like, oh, this is so exciting. And then I see them fall off. They unsubscribe. It's like, well, what did I do? Or I think there's lots of views today, and it was like, I don't know why, because it was just a generic thing. And other days I think, oh, I've nailed it, and like nobody watches. One day that did happen a while ago, and it's because I forgot to publish it. But, for the most part, it's up and down. And that's okay. I do believe that on the good day, I do remember and believe that I create this content because I believe that someone out there may need to hear it, or it may resonate with them, or it may help them to think about something differently, or to affirm in something that they've been thinking, that God will use this in some way, shape, or form in ways that I would not have guessed. But I do confess that whole algorithm thing is like, it's like one of those stupid things. Like, I've been watching Witcher. My husband's been watching. I'm trying to catch up on Witcher. Not really my style, that kind of fantasy thing. Not my style, but watching it like on my iPad at night before we go to bed. And then guess what I dream about all night? Well, sometimes I wake up worrying about the algorithm. I don't understand it. I think that's kind of the point. But one of the talks today, there was one of the ladies mentioned, or the talks yesterday, one of the ladies mentioned the algorithm and the gospel. And if we're doing as a Christian person, if we're online or we're writing books or we're doing blogs or we're podcasts and things like that, if what we're doing is only about nailing that algorithm, that ever elusive algorithm, and figuring out what do I need to do so I can get views, then we are doing this for the wrong reasons. Because what we really need to do is be reaching out to people with the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ. And I am quite aware that a lot of my subscribers are not Christian, or they are sort of sidelines, like they grew up Christian, grew up in the church, or have moved away from the church, maybe haven't given up believing in God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, but that's like you know what, I've been damaged by the church and I'm going to step back. That's totally cool. I know that. But I do believe as a Christian person and as a priest that what I want to do is reach out to people with the good news. And for me, the good news is Jesus Christ. That doesn't mean that I have to shove it down anyone's throat. I hope that the way that I live and the way that I speak and the topics that I choose on good days, when I'm when I'm firing on all cylinders, I hope that they do share the good news, even if I don't speak specifically the good news. There's a quote assigned to Saint Francis of Assisi that may or may not have been him, and us Anglicans use it way too often. And it goes something like this: that preach the gospel, use words when necessary. Like that we're supposed to live the good news. We're supposed to live this good news of Jesus Christ in such a way that people will know about him without using words, and only if necessary use words. And that's a cop-out. That really is. Because I can live a good life. I can be a faithful person. I can do kind things. And that doesn't make me, like, there's no reason anybody would look at me and say, oh, she's a follower of Jesus Christ, unless, they call the collar if I was wearing a cross or something. But for the most part, my actions do not explicitly state that I'm a Christian. When you get to talk to me and you ask me questions, or you find out what I do, or things like that, then it comes up. And really, anything I'm doing, if I'm doing this for the purpose that I say my channel is for, them, a Jesus follower, and I would like to share the good news with other people, if that is the truth, if I am living up to the vision or the mission of this channel, then I need to be less worried about algorithm and more worried about the gospel. And not worried isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. Because one of the truths that I heard yesterday from one of the speakers was that it's, I could have 1,000 people view my video, and I might have 600 people like it. That never happens. 60% of like never happens. But anyway, I could have that happen. But if not one person who watched it walked away feeling that they had some hope or some peace, or that something in what I said resonated for them, then all I had was 1,000 hits, 1,000 views. But if I had one person who watched the video and really thought, that speaks to me, it brings me some peace, it makes me feel better, it challenges me, I disagree with her, I want to argue with her, and I trust that I can argue with her in the comments because she's open to being argued with. She will respect the dignity of my being, even if I don't agree with her religion or politics or anything. I know that she's going to respect what I have to say, and she will respond and recognize my dignity. Even if only one person comes away from a video that I've created feeling that way, then that is the essence of what I'm truly called to do. So I got thinking, like this whole, the algorithm and the gospel. The algorithm and the gospel. Where else in my life, where else in our lives do we allow that to happen? It might not be algorithms. Not everybody has their own YouTube channel or does something on Facebook or things like that. But what kinds of things in your life do you allow yourself to worry about when you are doing your job, when you're living your life? Which things do you find difficult to focus on, like family or paycheck? Your health, or the things you like to do, like maybe play video games until 3 a.m. instead of get some sleep? Are there things that are for you, like the algorithm is for me, where I start to get more worried about and focused on the thing that doesn't really matter, rather than focusing on the things that truly do matter. So just a question for you. What things in your life truly matter? And which things do you find sometimes creep in and mess up those things that matter to you the most? Just a question. Leave your ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. It's Friday. I will be around on Sunday for church, for our mini church, and again on Monday for Church at Home with Rachael on Monday morning. God bless you and have a fantastic weekend.